Hey everyone! Today I'm going to show you a new method for farming unlimited lead and steel that was introduced with Update 48. I need to stress that this is a truly unlimited farm, and because it includes steel, it even doubles as an unlimited ammo farm for any ammo type as well, if you have access to the ammo converter. I want to be clear, the farming method itself, it's well known and it involves continuously looting the canned chimes trap item for scrap components. What's noteworthy is that as of Update 48, there is a new best location to farm canned chimes, and it might even be a contender for the best lead and steel farming method overall, especially for new players. But for now, with all that said, I'd like to introduce what I like to consider Lucky Hole Mine's little sibling, Organ Cave North. You'll find 5 hanging canned chimes just inside the entrance here, and in fact, they can be farmed endlessly by server hopping. This location is a Mothman cultist cave system. It's one of 3 new instanced locations recently added to the main map. Later in the video, I'll do my best to explain what that means exactly. But for now, just know that trap items, such as the canned chimes, inside instance locations will respawn, or rather reset, whenever the instance resets, which is something that occurs upon changing servers. This means that unlike the canned chimes hanging out in the main world, the canned chimes inside Organ Cave North are guaranteed to respawn. Additionally, the exterior of Organ Cave North is a green zone, meaning tents, camps, they can be placed here. It could not be more convenient. Let's get right into it and run the first route. This is one of 3 I'm going to show you, by the way, and I'm going to time it. I already have my tent placed just outside the doorway so I can scrap the canned chimes as needed. If you don't have Fallout First, consider putting your camp here for quick access and easy scrapping. A trap item itself isn't considered junk, which is why the 250 respawn rule doesn't apply. If you aren't familiar with this spawn rule, basically what it means is the items that you're picking up will not have a chance to reset for you personally until you've gone and picked up 250 other items after that. Also, you will have to server hop for those items to reset. From chems to corn, sugar bombs to desk fans, plants, and even ore veins, this rule applies to mostly all lootable items in the game, but it does not apply to traps. Every server hop, the trap resets for each player, unless if another player has been by and deactivated the trap recently. Since that isn't possible with instanced interiors or locations, these traps are guaranteed to reset every time. Let's see what we got from one run. 5 canned chimes adds up to 45 lead and 90 steel. This is the guaranteed yield for running this route one time, and it only takes about 1 minute to do. This assumes that the length of the 2 loading screens is the same for you as it is for me, and you sprint through this like I did every time you do it. Still, these numbers are pretty great for the effort. That's roughly 2,700 lead and 5,400 steel every hour. Not the most insane numbers, but still substantial given the low amount of effort needed. I know many of you out there will always prefer the Lucky Hole Mine method, despite that ore veins were nerfed last year. Seems we get about 3 times less than what we used to, but that's when the contextual ammo system came around as well. Really, I think we're all doing a little less work than what we used to do to farm lead these days. I think the best way to get steel would be through scrapping weapons that are dropped from super mutants, and that could be done at Westtac or at Eviction Notice. But here's the thing, consider some of the benefits for Organ Cave North. It doesn't cost anything to do this. You don't have to waste your acid, you don't have to smelt down the lead ore. If you're not a fan of wearing your power armor, you obviously wouldn't have to do that here. There aren't any enemies and there are minimal obstacles. You're getting the 5,000 to 6,000 extra steel, and all that steel could be converted to the ammo of your choice with the ammo converter, using the railway spike method. Basically, steel is all that's needed to craft railway spikes, which then can be put into the ammo converter for ammo points. Those ammo points can then be spent on any ammo type. 5,000 to 6,000 additional steel that is all going to your ammo stock. I'm not joking when I think Organ Cave is Lucky Hole Mine's little sibling. But yeah, this is sort of the easier, less stressful way to do it all. Don't trigger the trap, unless if you want to, like I'm going to right now. I'm over encumbered now. That's okay, don't have to go far. You might find it more relaxing just to be over encumbered as you do this. Just be sure not to alert that guy over there. He'll hear you if you're a little too noisy. 5. And we're done. It's important to know that certain elements within an instanced interior space, like enemy NPCs, doors, buttons, and traps, are guaranteed to reload when the instance is reset. But this does not apply to the regular items inside an instance location. If you find all this to be confusing, don't worry, it is. Just to prove it, I noticed that while making this video, the two rigged weapons attached to the tripwire trap inside Organ Cave North will sometimes swap places. My point is, the developers really went the extra mile to make the game world feel random, even in places it wasn't necessary. If you'd like to know more about the spawn rules in Fallout 76, check out a link I have in the description to an article by the Duchess Flame on the subject. It goes into all the details that are a little too complex for this video. The second of these instance locations that's comparable to Organ Cave North is the Burrows, rather the Daily Ops version of the Burrows. Unfortunately, I missed the last day in which the Daily Ops took place at the Burrows, so I can't give the exact number for the timing of this route. However, I imagine the overall yield is around the same as Organ Cave North, and I've run that route before and I know that it takes about 1 minute to get through. It doesn't require the player to server hop to reset the instance, it only requires resetting the Daily Ops instance on that server. The issue with the Burrows Daily Ops method is that it can only be done on the occasional day that the Burrows was randomly picked out of all the possible locations. Also, it can be more or less difficult to loop, depending on what the Daily Op enemies are, if it's a double mutation weekend, factors like that. In short, the Burrows Daily Ops loop yields about the same lead and steel, but has a little more excitement involved, if that's what you're after. The third and arguably most fun trap sprint takes place at the Trench, the Pit Expedition site. I call it the most fun because I find it to be the most satisfying when running the route, avoiding contact with as many enemies as possible. That said, this method's rate at which lead and steel are acquired is clearly the lowest. However, just look at how crazy fun this route can be. Definitely worth trying sometime. I have no doubt that some players might see this as a lazy or even questionable method for farming lead and steel. And to be fair, that's understandable. This is something I only recommend to players who are struggling and frustrated that they don't have enough lead or steel. But since some of you care, I don't think this method could be considered an exploit. I believe the developers put these can chimes here for players who really need them. The can chimes have also functioned the same way since the launch of the game, and I don't believe the developers see them as a problem to fix. That said, there is a rather ominous pool of blood surrounding the tripwire trap at the base of the can chimes inside Organ Cave North, as well as two holes in the wall that look like eyes to me. So take this information and do what you want with it. Maybe this blood on the floor here is Bethesda's way of saying, don't do this? I see it as more of a, hey, it's gonna require a little bit of effort to do this, therefore it's part of the game, and okay. And if I'm wrong and Bethesda decides to patch this out, then consider this my bug report. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.